Hey everyone, welcome back to Bleach Brave Souls, and today guys I wanted to talk about this new resurrection function that K-Lab's going to implement in mid-September. So as you can see, it says right there, resurrection function, a new way to power up your characters. Now what could this possibly be, guys? This is going to be just my speculation. I have no idea what it's actually going to be, but if we look at the wording of the notice, a new way to power up your characters, it seems like it could potentially be just a new way to get to level 200 or to get the 10-10-10 link slots. That's a possibility, an outside possibility. Maybe they're going to streamline the process because, as you know, right now you have to grind to level 100. You have to get the crystals, then you have to grind to level 150. You have to get the jewels and the raid characters. Then you got to grind to level 200, get the droplets. Then you got to grind 10-10-10 link slots. So maybe it'll be a way to streamline all that so it's less convoluted, because as it is right now, it can be kind of confusing, especially if you're a newer player to the game. That is one possibility, guys. I doubt that's it, but the way they worded the notice makes it seem like it could potentially be some kind of streamlining feature and nothing else. But I don't think that's what it is. I think it will be another actual tier of progression. So 7 stars, I'm not so sure. But another couple of levels, maybe that's a more likely scenario. Maybe the resurrection function will take us to level 250, and you'll have to grind some new kind of item for it. That is the most basic type of progression they could implement. The question is, guys, does anybody really want or need another tier of progression? Because right now, like I mentioned before, we already have quite a bit. I'm sure like not a lot of players have many 10-10-10 link slotted characters. Like for example, this Renji I have here. I only have maybe 6 or 7 10-10-10 characters, and it is quite a process. It was quite a process to get those characters to that point. As you might know, the grind is real for link slot potions. You have to do a ton of inheritance zone to get a 10-10-10 character. I believe the total is you need 2,250 for one 10-10-10 character, and the co-op runs only drop about 10 per run. So that is a huge obstacle to the top tier of progression for many players. It's just the time required and the investment of energy is enormous right now. So to add another layer of progression on top of that, I don't know. I don't know if it will be welcome. If you remember back when level 200 was released, there were people that were not happy about another grind that didn't seem to have much benefit. But as you see now, guys, over time, the grinds do become easier. They've made it easier for us to get droplets by adding in the new droplet quests, by adding in the 5-ticket raid runs. So I think all of that has been in preparation for this new update. They've made it easier to get to level 200 at the very least, because now you can get the raid characters very, very easily by doing intensive courses, by doing these 5-ticket raids that will drop you tons of characters, guys. If you need raid characters, do a 5-ticket co-op raid run and you should be all good. It shouldn't take you too many runs at that pace to get all the characters you need to max out the soul tree on a 6-star character. Let's not forget as well that they're streamlining the soul tree process. Like, you know, when you go to the soul tree and you click on each node, that's going to be streamlined as well. So everything is becoming easier to get in a way. So I mean, it's easier to do the soul tree, it's easier to get to level 200, it's easier to get raid characters. So maybe this is necessary to give us something to do. But then again, intensive course, I mean, inheritance zone still gives us plenty to do, in my opinion. You know, I still have tons of characters that I want to make 10-10-10 that I just have not had time to. And if they add another layer of progression on top of that, you know, it's going to be back to square one for grinding. Another question we have to talk about, guys, is how much more powerful do you need to make these characters? Right now, if you have a link-slotted 10-10-10 character with good links, pretty much most of the easiest content, most of the hardest content in the game is pretty easy. For example, I'll do a IZ right now while I'm talking, just to show you my point. We'll use all the boosters just for this example. But if you do have a 10-10-10 character, IZ is kind of easy right now. You can't auto it unless you have certain very specific characters and accessories and links. But I mean, you can do it pretty quickly. So if you make characters even more powerful than they are now, it's going to feel like a fusion trial or something when you do the IZ. If we take a look, I'll just plow through this. The damage I can put out with this Renji is pretty significant. I don't even have to charge that strong attack to kill everybody, and I don't even really have to concentrate that hard to do this. And as you know, a lot of people auto the IZs these days, depending on the criteria. I don't think it's going to be possible to auto with certain characters this particular IZ because the enemies do have Captain Killer, and most of the characters you would use to auto are captains, like Retsu or Green Yama, or any other top tier unit. But it's still, just to do it manually is not that difficult. So I mean, maybe we do need another level of progression to give us something more challenging in the game. They're definitely going to have to add some harder content for us to be able to use these new resurrected characters in something that's somewhat of a challenge, guys. I mean, and they probably will do that. The quest you'll probably have to do to resurrect your characters will most likely be very difficult. I bet you'll have to have 10-10-10 characters to get through it with any sort of efficiency. But, I mean, is that what we really need right now? Hopefully, and here's another thing that people have been talking about, maybe it will make some of the older characters a little bit more viable. To be honest, I'm really okay with the old characters not being viable. They are older characters, and I've long since accepted the fact that they're going to be kind of unusable in endgame content. But, you know, if they could figure out a way to do it, that would be great. Right now, the biggest issue I see with the older characters is that their mechanics aren't up to snuff. If you play an OG character, you'll notice the range. It's the range and the activation times. They're so slow, and the range is so short that they're pretty much unplayable. Unless you're just messing around, or unless they're your favorite characters. And, you know, that's alright if you want to do a link-slotted OG character because you like them. There's nothing wrong with that. But even with those upgrades, they're still not, I don't want to say viable, but they're still not even usable in an IZ or anything like that. Unless you want to take, like, 10 minutes to do the IZ. So as you can see here, guys, I did the Inheritance Zone Extreme in 2 minutes and 3 seconds. I definitely could have done that faster, but, you know, like I said, I'm talking right now, trying to explain my thoughts on Resurrection. Is it needed? Is it wanted? I would have to say, at this point, no. We don't really need another level of progression. What we need is a more efficient way to do the progression we already have at this point, like the link slot potions. I'm not saying give us 5-ticket runs on Inheritance Zone, but maybe, you know, make the drop rate a little bit higher so the grind doesn't take weeks for, you know, a semi-casual player to complete. I mean, I have a lot of friends that play this game pretty regularly, and they still haven't reached rank 50 because the link slotted character thing is holding them back. So maybe it's not necessary. We'll have to see, guys, because you remember when 200 came out, and I already mentioned this before, that 200 was not very well received by the community. We didn't get any orbs for it. It just seemed like, you know, useless busy work. But over time, it became just a part of our habits of leveling characters, part of the routine. You know, you get a new character, you got to take him to 5-star, you got to take him to 6-star, you got to take him to 200, and then if you want, you could take him to 10-10-10. But and so I think that's what will happen with Resurrection as well, unless it's something totally different. You know, maybe it's something like we get new mechanics or we get new 6-star upgrades. That would be amazing, guys. If we could get like some kind of new 6-star upgrade, like maybe you could add Frenzy to a character. I know that's just an example. I don't think that will happen, but something along that lines where you add actual new abilities to your characters. Maybe you could add something like an increase to their Berserker or their Bruiser. That's another possibility for Resurrection. Maybe you could add something to Havoc, you know, so the range increases. I have a feeling that doing something like that would be a nightmare on the technical side, but it is within the realm of possibility for KLab. They do have a professional team of developers that can do all this stuff, so you know, I don't think it's outside of anyone's expectations to say maybe they'll upgrade the 6-star skills or something. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think it'll be. Resurrection, do you even want it? Is it even necessary? You know, I think unless they add really, really difficult content, that it's not necessary. It's not really necessary for the content we have now. Alright, so I guess that's my final thoughts. I probably forgot some things that I wanted to discuss. But yeah, for now, guys, that's it. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on Resurrection, what it could be, and do you want it? So thanks for watching once again, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.